gassy, okay?
God.
What?
I just started
You just started
recording.
recording.
And you're like, I guess you okay?
Okay.
God. Anyway. So, we're going to talk about what?
Well, what did you say we're gonna talk about? About
Long
long
distance.
distance relationships?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, how'd we meet?
We might wanna do an introduction first, maybe.
Okay. So, I'm Vanessa,
I'm Carlos.
and we are a married interracial couple.
Yes.
And we met online through a mutual friend, through our friend Jesse. Hi, Jesse. And yeah, it's kind of a long story,
It is a pretty long story,
like really long, but we'll try our best to get through it all.
yeah, without being extremely boring.
So, it all started when I joined like YouTube, and there's like a bunch of people doing fan dubs and videos and stuff like that. I was like, oh man, that sounds like fun. And then I met my friend Jesse, and we got to know each other and stuff, and we had a lot of fun. And then one day we were on Skype and we were in a call, and she's like, hey, can I invite my friend Carlos? And I'm like, sure. So she invited him in the call, and he was really shy, and he had like an accent, like more, a
Even
more,
more of an accent.
more of an. I
I,
can't even
I,
do accents. I
kind of
can't.
sounded like this when I spoke. I had way more of an accent. Now I just sound like this. I mean, I still do have an accent, but at the very least, I sound a bit more
Clear.
acclimatized
Yeah.
to the environment.
Yes.
I guess. Yes.
You sound clear in the way you speak.
And by the way, when she said fan dubs, what she actually meant is just, well, people singing songs from The Little Mermaid over and over and over again.
Oh, shut up. That's not all we did.
Wait, was that just me? No, wait, it was just me. Yeah, it was me.
Yeah, it was just you that had the
it was
problem.
Well, I did like
Hey, we're
three or
getting on a
four.
tangent. We're getting on a tangent, okay?
Tangents are fun.
No, we have to keep going with the story.
All right, all right.
Okay.
Tangent over.
So, anyway, so I met him through my friend Jesse. We were in a call. And I talked to him a little bit, and I was like, I don't know about this guy. Like, he seems kind of standoffish, kind of shy. Like, he seemed nice, but it's like, I don't know if he likes me too much. And yeah. So, what'd you think of me when you first met me?
You were odd. Your voice was definitely something unique. I've never heard.
Unique.
Yes.
Really?
Well, yes. I never heard somebody that had a voice type like yours.
I thought there was like more of us, like lower voiced.
Well,
people.
yes, but where I
Or
come from,
women.
well, where I come from, a lot of women don't really.
You talk like this?
No, that's just no. No, the thing is, it's because the way we speak Spanish and because we live so close to the sea, and we pretty much yelled everything all the time. So women always sounded very high pitched.
Oh, okay.
So now you
So I was
understand.
more like chill, like laid back.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Okay.
But your voice type is also pretty unique.
Oh, thank you. So, okay. We spent some time getting to know each other on and off, and we didn't really talk very consistently. Excuse me. So, like, we spent time on and off talking to each other, and we both, like, we talked about it later, we both thought maybe we should delete this person.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not that we disliked each other, it's just that we didn't really talk that often.
Yeah, we spent probably 3 months without talking to each
Uh
other at
huh.
all. Like not even hi, not even a single conversation, nothing.
No.
So we thought, meh, we're not really talking, so I might as well. We were both going through a cleanup of our Skype contacts,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was like we might as well just delete each other. Luckily, we didn't.
Yeah, we didn't.
Yeah,
Obviously,
obviously.
because now we're married. But, and then there was one day where he and I were having just like a really bad day, both of us in our personal lives. Like, I had a bad day at my work, and then he was having issues with school. And so we decided to talk and just rant to each other about our problems.
Yeah, just open up.
And then after that, we just couldn't stop talking after that. We just kept talking to each other and going in calls with each other. And, most of the time it was just me and him. But
Yeah,
we like had, sometimes we had people in the call with us,
yeah,
like
we had
a couple
other
people.
friends.
Yeah.
Didn't we have like at some point we had calls that were so big it was ridiculous?
Yeah.
It was like what,
Like
10 plus
10 plus
people?
people, and the call just kept dropping and no one
Yeah.
could understand each other, but that's a different thing. So anyway, so then there was this one day where he and I were in a call with our friend Will. Hi, Will. So um we were in a call just talking about whatever, and then Carlos says to me, I have something I need to talk to you, but I want to speak to you alone. And then Will's like, no, 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 you can't have her. And it's like, what?
Will already knew what was going on because
Yeah.
I had told him what was going on
Well,
through my head.
well, Will and I had this thing where we had this like silly thing where we were married, but we really weren't. We were just really good friends. And and I said, Will, like, well, I'll get to that later. Anyway, um so a couple days went by and I was hoping that Carlos would have forgotten,
I never forget.
but he did not. And so I got on Skype and we just had a normal conversation. And then all of a sudden, he's like, you remember that time where I said I needed to talk to you alone? Well, yeah. And I'm like, oh crap, he remembered.
Hmm.
And then he said, well, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I like you. And I was like,
She was completely silent for what felt to me. It was seconds, but to me it felt like hours.
hours. Yeah.
It was like she was so silent. She went like, oh my god, http zipit.com.
Error.
Yeah, it was like http 404 not found.
KO'd.
Done.
But I
Um,
didn't know what to say because in the back of my mind, like before we had that conversation, I was thinking maybe he likes me. And I'm like, no, nobody likes me. What the hell?
oh,
And
shush you. Shush.
and I was like, And then when he said it, I was like, am I dreaming? Like I was just speechless. I was like, what the hell do I say to that? And then he's like, well, do you like me back? And I'm like, yes.
And sometimes you gotta be pushy because she was not speaking. And
So
I personally needed some toilet paper.
I needed some toilet paper because you were scared shitless.
Yes.
so,
I was pretty nervous
so
about it.
okay. So then you said to me, do you want to, you know, be with me? Like, do you
Yes.
want to like start dating or
Yeah.
whatever?
Like make it official.
And I was like, well, I'm going to think about it. Because, us being long distance, it's like, whoa, that's a big decision.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I was like, oh, I don't know. So,
By the way, sorry for interrupting you, love.
oh, go ahead.
But all of this happened, right? After for the past 3 years, whenever we spoke about people having long distance relationships, we always said how
Yes.
stupid it all was.
Yeah, we're like, people who get into long distance relationships are so stupid.
Yeah, this is
Why
so
would you do
dumb.
that? Why would you put yourself through that?
Wow.
And here we are confessing to each other. Well, he confessed to me first, but
Yes.
then I reciprocated.
Well,
Reciprocated.
reciprocated.
Whatever.
Whatever.
I can't speak. Anyway, so uh then what happened?
Give me your hand.
Oh, he's so cute. Anyway, so I like he gave me a couple days to think about it. And one day I was at work and I wasn't coming on Skype. And he's like, "What's
Couple
going
days,
on?"
a couple
was it a
of days,
week?
chimichanga. It was
Chimichanga.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. I gave
I
ya.
didn't realize how long it was. Okay.
Yes, it was 2 weeks, chimichanga.
Chimichanga. That's one of his names for me, Chimichanga.
I have no idea why. I just one day I called her that and it stuck.
So, so then I get a text message on my phone that I don't from a number that I don't recognize, and I'm thinking, who is this? And I'm like, and I text back, I'm like, who is this? And what'd you say?
I said, guess. Try to guess who it is.
Yeah, try to guess who it is. And I'm like, okay. And like,
you asked me
like
if I was male,
male or
if I was
female. Yeah.
And
You said male, and I said, okay, well, I don't have many male friends, so I'm guessing it's either Carlos or my friend Matt, which I highly doubt it.
especially considering that there was kind of a like the country code there.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I was like, it's Carlos, and he's like, yeah, it's me. You haven't been on Skype for a while and I haven't received an answer yet.
I was worried. I was seriously worried.
Oh gosh, I felt so bad. But I was like, it was like a huge thing. Like it was a huge decision. It's like, even though like I really did like you, I was scared.
I mean, I know you were scared, but you gave up the ghost.
I'm sorry. So anyway,
It's okay. I never held it against
I
you.
got back on Skype. I think I got back on Skype after I talked to a few people about you. I was like, should I date him? And
Did you
yeah,
tell me
I
about
did.
that?
I did.
You never
Well,
told me about
I
that.
don't think I did.
No.
But I talked to Lauren and maybe Jessica, and I was like, these are my friends, by the way. And I was like, should I? Because they like, they're my IRL friends. And I was like, should I? And then I think Lauren said no. And then someone else said, well, maybe, like, do what you feel is best. And so then I decided, well, what the hell? I mean, why not? And so we started dating.
Why not?
And it was so funny though, because my grandmother told me not to date you. You remember that?
I recall, yes.
Because I was in the car with her and I was talking to her, and she's like, now I know you've been talking to that guy from Venezuela, but you shouldn't be dating him. Don't date him. And I'm like, okay, Grandma, I'm not going to date him. And then...
Yeah, and then you just turned right around and
And
went
then I
like,
turned around
yeah.
and started dating you.
Yep, you just turned around and went marijuana and started.
Welp. There goes that. Okay, so then we dated for how long?
Well,
5-6 years?
Oh my god. Okay, so before we met in person the first time, I think it was 3 years, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was quite the process to be able to come to the United States.
Oh, yeah.
Because obviously I didn't want to, like, I didn't want to come illegally. I didn't want to, like, just get on a ship and suddenly end up in New York with a bunch of Russians. For anyone that gets that reference, I love you. But yeah, it was quite the process, and it took me 3 years to be able to get a visa.
Yeah.
So I could come over here.
Oh my god.
And even more time to get a plane ticket, because it just so happened that it seemed like everything was against us. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it seemed, and it's not like it seemed. Everything was against us
Mm-hmm.
because at that point in life, I was in school. I was in college still.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a job. I didn't have savings. I was living in Venezuela under an authoritarian regime,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the pretty
Maduro, coño de... What was it?
Maduro coño de tu madre.
Coño de
But
tu
yeah, but
madre.
yeah. Anyhow, yeah, just living under like all of that, and every airline that was available to take me from Venezuela to the U.S. was leaving. So you couldn't buy any plane tickets, and the plane tickets that you could find were outrageously expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it took me that long, 2 years to get the
And
visa, and
luckily
then a
you knew
whole.
someone from the travel agency,
Yeah,
so you could get a better deal.
yeah, she was a very good friend of mine. She owns the travel agency. That's why I was even able to get a good deal. And even then, it was still expensive
Mm-hmm.
because hey, she's gotta eat, you know.
Okay, so fast forward to you coming here for the first time.
Yeah.
So, so my dad wanted to come with me, and that's kind of embarrassing, but he wanted to.
Well, it was the right thing to do, I think.
Yeah, because I'm his daughter, and he wants to make sure that you're not some drug lord. And even though he talked to you previously before you
Well, yeah,
coming, but
yeah, he
still.
did, but still, it only makes sense that he would come over and make sure I'm not gonna like get you into human trafficking or something.
So I made a sign, like a large sign in Spanish that was not correct. What did I do? It's
Well,
like a spelling error or a
it was
grammatical error, something like that.
thing is you put bienvenidos instead of bienvenidos, so it's like you put it in
Yeah.
plural rather than singular.
And then like there's people
But it was
coming
so precious
there
though.
was there's people coming from Houston who were Hispanic, and they're walking by me and they're like, who's Carlos? Like, what's this gringa doing with this sign and the crappy Spanish? Like, what's going on here? They're just giving me weird looks, and I'm like, this is embarrassing. So I kind of was thinking about putting the sign away because I was embarrassed.
I'm so glad you didn't.
And so then we were waiting and stuff, and then I saw him walking, like through the, what do you call it, terminal, yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
And
It was pretty late too.
yeah, it was late, and so I was like, oh my gosh, it's him, it's him, it's him, it's him. And then he walks past me, and I'll let you explain that one.
Me?
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
about the fact that you passed me.
well, yeah. I did walk past her. I'm legally blind, so let's put that out there. I can see, but I cannot see well, especially when it gets dark.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much so that I'm actually not allowed to drive. So yeah, I had pretty terrible eyesight. So yeah, I walked past her, and it doesn't help that there was a guy helping me. By the way, he was a really amazing guy, really nice guy, but he was standing right next to me and blocking my view. So imagine an already bad field of vision being blocked on top of that.
Yeah.
So
And then the only reason he stopped is when I said, honey.
yeah, and I recognized her voice right
And
away.
he was like, he looked over and he's like, oh, it's her. Well, he didn't say that, but he was just like,
No,
well,
yeah, that totally happened. I was like, "Who? That's her."
well, no, you didn't say that. Like you were
No,
just
I
thinking in your
know,
mind.
I know. I'm just being goofy.
But so yeah, like he stood in front of me, like, and he like we stared at each other for like a split second, and it was like at first it was kind of awkward because it's like, whoa, like you're here,
Yeah.
and then we hugged each other, and we hugged each other again, And then Dad was like, "Oh, let me shake your hand there."
He gave me a hug
Oh
though.
wait, no, yeah, he gave you a hug.
Yeah, he
That's
gave me a
right.
hug.
I thought he shaked your hand or
He
something.
did, but he gave me a hug.
Oh yeah, and then he like took your suitcase or something.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, and then um, like we were holding hands and stuff, and we were floating on a cloud,
Yeah.
and we were like, "Woo! We made it! We made it! We made it!" They said we wouldn't make it, but we did.
Oh yeah. Oh
Like,
my god.
yeah, like it was one of those moments where it's like, I cannot believe this is happening, but this is happening, and it was awesome.
It's happening.
We were like victorious. So
Yep.
yeah. So then, oh yeah, and then we went to my dad's car because my dad drove me to the airport. I didn't need to be driven, but he wanted to, and so it was dark, and I was sitting in the back with Carlos, and I looked over at him, and he attacked me. He did. He really did attack me. Well, he didn't like attack me in a bad way. He kissed me. He was like, "Mwah," and I'm like, "Oh."
I look, I wasn't thinking, okay, I wanted to kiss you and that's simply what happened. I wasn't really thinking about it.
I was not expecting that because I thought he was going to save that for when we were alone and not have Dad in the front seat.
Well, it was dark, okay? He couldn't see anything anyway.
He probably knew. He probably saw.
And that matters because
Well, it doesn't matter now, but at the time I was embarrassed. I mean, I was happy that you kissed me, but at the same time I was like, oh.
the question is, were you more happy than embarrassed or were you more embarrassed and happy?
I was more happy.
Okay, so what's the problem then?
No problem. No problem. So, yeah. Then we went back to my parents' house
Yeah.
and we were just, chilling there and
Yeah.
stuff.
It was one of those things that it's like, okay, the introduction's over. We saw each other for the first time.
And
We
I made
hugged
you
and kissy.
I made you meatloaf.
Oh yeah! Oh my god!
Okay,
Yeah, that
don't make that
meatloaf.
sound. That's gross.
That meatloaf was delicious. But in any case, it was like, past the whole introduction and whatnot, and then we're just sitting in her bedroom, and it's like, okay, now what? Because we were not. That's like it was slightly awkward, but not really. Because
Yeah.
yeah, we were just kind of laughing at the fact that we didn't even know what to say.
Yeah. But it was nice.
It was.
And it was interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna even elaborate on that.
No.
So anyway, there were some bumps after that. It was mainly due to my grandmother. And she is intense. Was intense.
To say the least.
And what was it? There was this time where we were sitting together. We were eating, I think, and Jessica was visiting.
Yes, yes.
And we got up from the table, and I was kind of irritated at my grandmother anyway because she made a comment about your scar on your neck.
Yeah, I have a scar on my neck. It's because of a blood transfusion.
And so I didn't really think about it, and I just got up because then Jessica got there, and I was like, okay, we're gonna go, bye. And
yeah, kind of irritated doesn't really begin to describe it, my love. You were giving her the death glare.
oh yeah,
And I'm just sitting there
I was
eating my food like,
mortified.
It doesn't matter. I'm not offended.
yeah, I was so mad. And then after we hung out with Jessica, we came back, and me and Carlos were sitting downstairs. And Grandma came down, and she's like, I try not to say anything, but I have to say it. Oh, you didn't say thank you for the meal, or you didn't even, you were so rude when you got up and left, and blah, 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 blah. And it was like, Okay.
I was quite certain that we did, but I don't know.
I don't remember saying thank you,
I don't remember that, but okay.
yeah, she was really mad, and I was like, okay, sorry, what? And then I realized later it's like, well, it was justified for me, at least, to not have said thank you because she was being irritating. She was like being offensive, like, what's that on your neck? Oh my god! Like, seriously, she had no tact
That
with
was not
that.
an exaggeration, by the way. She literally said it like that.
Yeah, she did. I was like, "Ugh." Yeah. So let's tell them about the. Should we tell them about the dingy motel?
Ay, 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 ay. Bueno. So, yeah. How do we keep this
Oh,
PG?
okay, okay. I'll say
You
it.
go
I'll say
right
it.
ahead.
So, when you're in a long distance relationship and you don't have any physical
All
contact,
you have is communication.
and like you're kind of pent up
Yeah.
with tension.
Mm-hmm.
And so we decided to go to a motel because we couldn't have any alone time because we were living with my parents, like with my family and stuff.
Yes.
And so we went to this not hotel,
No,
motel.
it was a motel. It was,
And it was a very dingy, very questionable looking motel. It looks like a place where drug dealers would go and make their dealings. And it was not worth the price, but it was worth the time
yes,
with you.
it definitely was worth the time.
So we got there and paid our dues and stuff like that and left after that.
Yes.
But yeah, it was interesting.
I mean, the motel was pretty on the inside, at least, kind of.
It was okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
The outside looked
Terrible.
ugly. Oh.
Yeah, it was like, and then we were tense as well because we're like, what if someone, like, the door was like weird because even though like we had it locked, it still looked very like someone could just come in anyway.
Yeah. It looked like the door was, I don't know, like it was about to fall down. Like somebody put that door in with some duct tape and toilet paper. It was just really.
So it was not the best atmosphere. So
No, it really wasn't the best atmosphere.
okay. So what else? What else happened? We had a good old time. We went to different restaurants and experienced different things together.
Yeah. I think probably the. You okay?
Yeah, I'm just checking the audio.
Okay. I think probably the biggest thing for me when I went out with Nessa here is going to pretty much any supermarket and seeing how many brands of food and products in general there were and how much food, how everything was so available.
Yeah, he was like, "Wow. So this is what it's like to live here and have food available and not struggle and just you can just walk over to Walmart and there you go."
Yeah, food for everybody.
Okay. So, is there anything else we want to talk about before we talk about our goodbye? Our first goodbye anyway.
The apology.
Is that really worth talking about?
I don't know.
I guess
Yeah,
it's
sure.
worth talking about. So, you know how we said that my grandma was like difficult. And before he came over, my grandma was saying, yeah, Carlos is not gonna come. He's never gonna come. He's probably cheating on you. How can you be with someone who's nearly blind? Blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, fast forward to when he came here the first time and we were living with her and my parents and stuff in one house. And my grandma asked me to talk to her upstairs, and I was normally like downstairs most of the time because I didn't want to be around her. And so I went upstairs and she's like, okay, just sit down. I want to talk to you. So I'm like, okay. And she's like, I just wanted to apologize because I said that he was never going to come and he's here. So
Oh,
I'm sorry. And I'm like, oh, really? Really? And I was like, oh, thanks. Okay. Thanks. I appreciate that. So I went downstairs and I said to Carlos, I'm like, you're going to lose your mind, what she just told me. What? Well, just sit down. You're going to have to sit down for this one. And he's like, okay. I'm like, she apologized. She apologized for thinking you were never going to come here.
yeah, and the thing is that she never apologizes for anything. She
I
never
know.
apologized for things.
And you lost your shit. You were laughing. Weren't you on the floor?
I was on the floor and I was just laughing.
I was like, what? So that was interesting.
Yeah, because she never apologized for anything. So that was definitely, that was one for the history books.
Right.
For us, anyway.
Yeah. So, okay, fast forward to all through the good times, all the good stuff.
And, well, the day came when I had to go back to my country. And we had to say our goodbyes. It was an extremely sad day.
That was just ridiculous.
It's, man. We were even discussing the possibility of me just staying, but no.
But
it
he
was
couldn't
just,
yet.
I could not. Not at the time. It was impossible.
Let me just talk about how you nearly asked me to marry you before you left.
Okay, let me make something clear. I was not going to ask you.
You look like you were about to kneel.
I was kneeling because I wanted to kiss your hand and you were standing up.
Usually when someone gets down on one knee, that usually means a marriage proposal, sir.
Well, I apologize for misleading you, but I was not going to ask you to marry me, at least
It
not
looked
at
like
the time.
it. Well, whatever. You can say whatever you want. So, anyway, there's that. And then came the time where we had to say goodbye at the airport. And my dad drove me, and it was a very, very sad day indeed. Dad actually left to give us alone time, and then he came back to pick me up later. But oh my God, I was just we were walking around the airport waiting and waiting, and I just didn't want to let him go. I was holding on to him, and I was sad, and I was crying, and he was leaving, and then he almost forgot his cane.
Yeah.
His seeing eye cane. Because I had it in my hand. And I was like, oh shit, I better give this back to him. And then after that, I waved to him. And of course I forgot about his eyesight. And then the guy, I guess, told him, hey, she's waving at you. And then you waved back.
Now, here's the thing. When I was walking away, I was trying my best not to look back. Because I was feeling really destroyed on the inside. It was just... My God, I never felt anything like that.
It's like leaving a part of yourself behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really was like leaving a part of yourself. And, oh my God. And when the guy was like, hey, she's waving at you. And I waved back, I broke. My soul broke into a million pieces right there.
Oh my God.
Because I could no longer see her. I mean, she could see me, but I could no longer see her from where I was standing. Everything was blending into the distance, and I couldn't.
I remember
handle
what
it.
you said before you left. When we were just chilling in the airport, and you said, "Don't worry, I'll come back. I promise, I'll come back. I just want to finish college and get some things squared away, and then I'll come back for you."
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was heartbreaking.
It was.
We were depressed.
Very.
I mean, even
depressed.
though we got to talk to each other after he came back.
It wasn't easy.
After he went back to Venezuela, I mean, it was not easy. We were inconsolable almost.
It really wasn't. It's just once you meet the first time,
and you have that connection,
you
and
have
then you
that
have to
connection
say
and you have-
goodbye.
things are just not the same anymore.
Yeah.
It's before we had never met, so it was normal for us to not be there physically.
Mm-hmm.
But once we had that physical contact, things were just never the same. It was hard.
Yeah.
We talked even more. We texted each other even more.
We were like,
We were looking constantly. We were looking for each other's company
oh
in
yeah.
some way, shape, or form.
It was sad though as well because like when I would look to my right, like sitting in my car in the passenger seat, you aren't there.
Yeah.
And I was so used to seeing you there for a while there. And I was like, oh my God, he's not there. And just the little things like that just made me sad.
Yeah, it
And
was like.
it's like you're used to being around them, you're used to waking up and seeing their
Mhm.
face. And it's like really hard. And if you guys have been or are in long distance relationships, it's hard. You guys know how hard it is.
Yeah. But the thing is, was it worth it though?
Yes.
Yes, it was.
Would I do it again?
No.
No. It's like, I mean, if you get into a long distance relationship, you're taking a risk.
Yeah.
And I would not want people to do that to themselves just in case something were to go wrong. But I mean, it's worth it if you have that connection with that person, but it's still very hard, especially if they live in another country.
It's one of those things that if you can avoid getting into it, then please by all means
Please avoid it.
However, if you do get into it, you better make sure that you go all in,
All
the
in.
way, because
Yeah.
you can't half-ass. Nobody, you just can't half-ass
You
a long
gotta
distance
have
relationship.
you gotta have the communication down. You can't just be like ghosting them all the time or um like if you really want to be with them in a relationship and you make those things clear like yeah, I'm in it for the long haul, and you can't be slacking off like, oh, I see this other person, I find them attractive, I'm gonna go fuck them or go out with them or something. It's just like if it's like where you're like, okay, like we have an open relationship, then that's different.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. But if you say, yeah, I love you, I want to be with you, and you don't put forth the effort, then what's the
Yeah,
point?
then there's no point, and you just gave yourself a whole lot of heartache for
Yes.
absolutely no reason.
We're not necessarily discouraging people going into long distance relationships, but uh it's really hard.
Yeah,
So
it is.
try not to get into it, but if you happen to like catch feelings and you really like the person, then go for it. But just keep in mind, it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard. It was really hard for us. I don't even know how the heck, like, I guess we just really loved each other, really cared about each other. So that's why we put so much effort. It's like there's some people who are like, oh, this person's living in another state, and it's like, well, that's great. At least, I mean, I'm not trying to like make it lesser,
Yeah,
but
we're not trying to make light of somebody that has an LDR with a person that's in another state. It
or
is
close
difficult.
by,
Yeah, or
closer.
yeah, closer. It is still difficult. Yes.
But it's a lot harder if you get someone who's in another country.
Sorry.
And I'm sorry too. But yeah. Anyway, so, and then how many years after did you finally come back?
Well,
It's like
took me 2 more
2 years.
to
Yeah.
finish college, and then I decided to come over. I decided to come over for a visit. We were still kind of planning things out, but we just couldn't be away
And you
from each
finished
other.
college.
Yeah, I had finished college by then. We had been talking about marriage for maybe a year or more, a year and a half by that point. And this is where the good stuff happens. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
I came over here. I was not ready. I was not prepared. We were not ready for anything.
Oh no.
I simply came over here and I was going to stay here until, what was it, the 30th of July of that year.
Mm-hmm.
That was in 2017.
Yes.
Well, after showing her some pictures and some videos from my country and what was happening there, and the fact that we had missed each other so much for such a long time, at that point in time we were like, you know what, we can't wait
Let me fix
any.
this.
Yeah,
Ugh,
of
it's
course.
uncomfortable. Okay, here we go.
Okay, we can't wait any longer. We should not wait any longer.
Get married.
Let's get married. Let's take the plunge. We've been discussing this for a long time, and we both wanted it. We wanted it more than ever.
Yes.
And when we saw each other, when we hugged each other again, it was sealed. Like there was really nothing else to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
So
So we went to the courthouse and got married legally. And my family was not on board with that at first.
I mean, they were. It's not like they were not on board, but they were.
They
really
felt like
skeptical.
it was, yeah, they felt like it was the wrong time.
Yeah.
And, it's like, and then it was also funny because Dad was saying, oh, you can't keep leading her on. It's like, well, this is like an ultimatum here. Like, this is what we're doing. We're staying together. We're getting married and all that stuff. And yeah, like at first they were kind of upset with us because they're like, well, we're not really going to give you like our blessing. And so we did it anyway. Rogue.
Yeah, we totally
And
went rogue.
we went with our well, I knew a pastor. He came in to shop at my work, and I told him all about Carlos, and he's like, oh, I will be, he's like this really cute Chinese man. He's like, oh, I will be your pastor, and
Yes.
I will be there to go with you to the courthouse.
Yeah, shout to Pastor Eng, he's a real bro.
Yeah, so he went with us, and we signed papers and all that good stuff, and got some pictures taken. And then the nice lady told us that we had to have a ceremony after, like, before 30 days are up.
Yeah.
And we're
now
like,
imagine that.
I were like, okay.
We had nothing planned. All right?
Nothing.
Let me hammer this
Okay.
really hard. We had nothing planned. Absolutely nothing. For all we know.
Nada.
For all we knew, a wedding was just getting a few people, saying I do, having some drinks. That was it. Haha, bye-bye. Everybody had fun? Yeah, we all had fun. Bye-bye. Oh my god.
That was stressful. It's like, I can't even imagine what it's like for people who do like a really big shindig for their wedding.
Well, our wedding was not necessarily that small,
No,
but
well, it wasn't. But the thing is, it was really
Yeah.
simple, and I can't even imagine what it's like for like a bigger wedding with all this stuff you got to do.
Yeah.
And we were thinking, okay, let's pick a location. It's like totally not last minute. So we went to like the Japanese stroll garden, and it was not in the stroll garden. It was like outside the stroll garden.
Yeah.
And there was like this little area where you can like there was like this overhang, and there was like these tables, and
Yeah, and there was
and then
a
there was like a
stage.
stage, like a stone stage,
Mhm.
and you could set it up, decorate it however you want, and stuff like that.
Which was absolutely perfect.
It was, yes. And we picked the location, and then my mom was like, okay, fine, I guess if you guys are gonna do this, let's get some stuff.
Yeah.
And they said they were not going to help
Look,
us.
this is a
Here's the
timeline.
thing.
This is a timeline, or rather, this is more or less the attitude that they were taking.
Mm.
At first, we told them we're gonna get married. Not sure. You guys shouldn't be doing that. We're not gonna give you our blessing.
We're not gonna
Don't
help
think
you
so.
with
No,
anything.
we're not gonna help you with anything. Don't count on us. Bye.
Right. And then they did.
And it's like, hey, we're organizing our wedding. Okay, we're gonna get this thing, and we're gonna get this thing, and we're gonna put this
Right.
thing together, and we're gonna do this other thing. It's like,
So-
whoa.
So I
What?
I gotta tell them the story about my dress.
Go for it.
So I was looking for a dress with my mom, and we went to like maybe one place, and I couldn't find anything, and then we went to another place that was downtown, And we were looking at different dresses, and I was like about to lose hope because it's like I don't think anything's gonna look good on me. What the hell?
Anything could have
No,
looked great on
you're
you, baby.
biased. Anyway, so anyway, I found this dress. Like they found it for me, actually, and they gave it to me, and I was like, I put it on, and I was like, this is the dress. This is the dress. I want it. So I came out of the dressing room and I was smiling. I was happy. And mom, she seemed to like it okay. But I was like smiling ear to ear. I was like, Mom, I want this dress. This is the dress. She's like, well, we'll just think about it. We'll just think about it and look at other places. I'm like, Mom, this is the dress. And it was a really affordable price. It was like in our budget, like under our budget actually. And it was beautiful, simple. It didn't have any like overzealous
It
stuff.
wasn't. It was not necessarily like
It
really
was me.
frilly.
It was me. That's what it was. It was like if someone made a dress that embodied who I am, that was the one. So then mom was looking at like other things and stuff like that. And she's like, well, we'll hold on to the dress and then we'll go to other places. I'm like, oh, I don't wanna. So then we went to David's Bridal and we were looking around and I just couldn't find anything at all that I liked at all. And I said, Mom, this is the other dress. I wanted it really bad. Like when you put on the dress, you know. And like we were talking to the sales lady that was there. And I said, I can't really find anything I like here. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but I just can't find anything that's me. And we found another dress at a different place. And she's like, you know what? I could try to sell you something here. But if that dress is the dress and you loved it and you feel great in it and you smile and everything, then you should go back and get it. And my mom was kind of mad about that.
Oh. Well, your mom is quite the perfectionist. Like, she likes things to be.
And yeah, she probably has like a certain vision.
Yeah.
I mean, she wasn't like mad, but she was like, she seemed a little irritated.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we went back to the store. We picked out the dress again and then tried it on again. And I was like, I still love it, Mom. And seriously. And then we picked out like a belt. It was like a fabric belt. And,
oh, no, I wasn't there.
And we picked out a veil. And we also picked out like a pin. And then like a shawl to go over my shoulders because I guess having my arms bared was a bad thing. I don't know. And also because like I'm a heavy set girl, okay? My boobs kind of come out and play. So
Come out and play.
so they were trying to cover my cleavage and cover my arms and stuff like that so I wouldn't look like a cheap whore, I guess. I don't know. And so yeah, anyway, we got all that stuff and we got some decorations and we planned on what we were going to eat. And I told my mom, I was like, well, I want it mostly vegan, and so we had like some random stuff. We had a veggie tray, we had pinwheels, we had cupcakes. We didn't have a cake, we had cupcakes.
Yeah.
And
no meat for me, thank you very much.
And we had like some music and stuff. And oh boy, we were happy. But there was one person who was not happy.
Oh my God.
My grandmother. Did you guys guess that? Because it's pretty obvious. So anyway, she was like grumpy and
the whole time.
And my mom was trying to coax her to like take pictures, with me and stuff like that. And she was like, I don't want to be here. And my coworker, who was a very nice older lady, she's like, oh my God, is that Vanessa's grandmother? Why isn't she happy for her? oh my God, she's so grumpy. And she was like, after the wedding, she was like, I kind of wanted to slap her. And it's like, I love you so much. It's like, it was so funny.
Oh boy.
Oh, and I had, what do you call it? God damn it, I forgot what it was.
What?
Maids of Honor. What's the other one?
But Bachelorette?
No,
What?
not Bachelorette.
But-
What? No, it's like Maid of Honor and there's another word for the other one.
It's just
Anyway.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway, I had girls with me, my two best friends, and I had three best friends. I had my friend Lauren, Jessica, and Christina, and it was funny. Jessica and Lauren looked beautiful in their dresses and
Yeah.
their lovely outfits. However, my friend Christina, she showed up in a tank top and jeans.
You know what? You know what?
I mean,
That's
I
fine.
was I was glad she was there. And at the time I was like, okay, whatever. At least she's there. I don't care. But my grandmother was she had something to say about it.
Oh, she definitely had something to say, but you know what? I don't care. She one of my people because she didn't give no efforts about nothing. She
I
just
did
showed
not
up.
tell her to show up in a tank top and jeans. I told her, if you don't have a dress, wear a nice blouse and nice pants, like dress pants or something like that. I did not say wear whatever you want.
I mean, it is a wedding, for Christ's sake.
But it's okay. I was not mad about it.
No.
But Christina felt embarrassed because my grandma called her out. So when we were taking pictures, Christina was like hiding behind everybody else.
Oh man.
It was
I
so
fe-
funny.
I felt bad though because she felt so embarrassed about it, and it's like it doesn't matter. We're not gonna bite.
Okay.
Well, at least we won't.
Yeah. So anyway, we had a great time, regardless of grumpy grandma. We took pictures, had a jolly time. You know, we had many gifts that we opened later. And it's funny, like, Dad was like, okay, at the time, like, me, my brother, and Carlos were all living together in an apartment. We weren't living with our family anymore.
Yeah.
And my dad said to my brother, hey, Matthew, you want to stay with us? Like, because, you know, you might want to
Wedding
give...
night.
Yeah, you might want to give Carlos and Vanessa some alone time. You want to know what we did on our wedding night? Opened presents and slept. That's all we did. We did.
Yeah, all we did was just that. Open presents and chilled, and then
We're just
maybe-
the weirdest
yeah, maybe like
couple
half snacks
ever.
and that was it.
Yeah, it's like you think, oh, something's gonna happen. No.
We were tired.
We were
man.
tired. Mentally, emotionally, physically, we were tired. We were happy, but we were just like really tired. It's like, do you feel like it? No, not really. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it was nice that we had the place to
Yeah, it was
ourselves,
peaceful, but we're like, we're too tired for this. Good night.
Yeah, exactly. And besides, after all the wedding and stuff, we still had a lot to do. Because that's not the end of it.
Oh, yeah, that's not even the end of it.
Yeah. Then.
Applying for the green card.
Yes.
Oh my God.
To be able to stay in this country. Yeah, people say, oh, you just marry an American and then you get citizenship.
That's it,
right?
poof.
Wrong. That is not how it works, not even close to that.
Mm-hmm.
Applying for the green card after getting married is perhaps one of the most stressful, dehumanizing processes I've ever been through.
And it's expensive.
And it's expensive.
It's like adopting a child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is like adopting a child because if you are not pinpoint 100% pristine, perfect on absolutely every little bit of your documentation and your background, forget about
We
it.
had to fill out a bunch of applications, and we had to organize them together and put together with those applications our evidence, like where we're living together, do we have a bank account together, pictures of each other, just everything under the sun, like everything you could think of that would link us together, we would put in there.
Yes.
And it was ridiculous. We had two thick yellow folders.
And okay, just one thing before you continue. Right now, on this very day, we have 3. So go ahead.
Anyway, so so then we were really stressing out. We did most of our own research, and then we had a couple people help us out with affidavits and with like information in general. There was a nice young woman that helped us out. She was like looking through our application, through our evidence, and we asked her, like, is this okay? And she said, yeah, it's perfect. Like, just, go ahead and send it. And so after we organized and just agonized over everything, like checked, rechecked, quadruple checked everything like a million times, we sent it in and we had to pay over $2,000.
Yeah. And let me make a parenthesis here because I only had 6 months to do this. And not 6 months after getting married, 6 months after getting here. And we did not decide to get married until maybe like 2 weeks after I got here.
Yeah.
And then we were organizing everything. Like we did not go to court until about like a month and a half.
Yeah.
And then is when we started organizing the wedding in like 30 days because
Oh my God.
we're not thinking.
Whew.
So I only had 4 months basically.
Oh yeah, we had to get a loan from the bank to pay for that too.
We only had 4 months to finish all of this.
Or I had to.
Yeah. Well, we didn't have the money. We didn't have the knowledge. We had 4 months to finish all of this.
To figure it all out.
And
send the papers.
And send it in and hope that everything was perfect. Because like I said, if you are not pinpoint lickety slit perfect, forget about it.
And
it's not happening.
And a lot of people have told us, like, you may need a lawyer, and we didn't get a lawyer.
No, we did not.
We couldn't really afford one.
And besides, why would we need one?
Yeah, exactly. If we have nothing to hide, then what's the point in getting a lawyer?
Yeah.
If our case is solid, then we're good. But if you're not sure, you maybe should hire a lawyer. Don't do what we did.
Get a consultation. Don't hire anybody before getting a consultation.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it was a very expensive, very stressful time, and we sent it in through the post office.
Another thing: do not hire a private lawyer. Go look for organizations and basically Christian charities. They will help out. Don't just go with any private lawyer that you find because when it comes to immigration, a lot of them are prone to scam you.
Yeah, be careful with that.
Yeah.
So anyway, we sent it and we were like freaking out. Like, I mean, we were relieved that we had gotten it done. We were like, okay, is this going to get approved? Oh my God. And that was also adding stress.
Yeah.
And when did it get approved?
It got approved exactly. Let's see,
almost Christmas time.
It was Christmas time.
Yeah.
I had to leave. Like I was obligated to leave the country by January 6th. And we got our papers approved on December 23rd.
I think it was the 4th.
No, 24th.
I think it was like midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, and you had gotten like an email.
Yeah, and I got an email saying that our papers were received and they were approved and that I was in process. So I no longer had to leave the country by the 6th of January of next year. So, oh my God, you can imagine. Actually, I would like to say that we slept like babies that night,
Mm-hmm.
but the truth is we didn't. We were so excited and so happy and so electrified that we just couldn't sleep.
Yeah, it was
We
it
couldn't
was
sleep.
it was like, oh, Merry Christmas to us.
Yes.
Oh gosh, it was great. So then, after that, we had to wait.
A long
And
time.
we had to wait for your
Work permit.
work permit, and then we had to wait for them to call us for an interview as a couple.
Yeah. We had to travel to another city to get our fingerprinting done.
Oh, we have to tell. Oh, yes. Wait, before the interview, we had to go for the fingerprint
Yeah.
for the biometrics,
Yes.
and we went to St. Louis, and
St.
that
Louis,
was
Missouri.
that was the closest place we could go, like that they wanted us to go.
Yes.
And they tell you to go to a certain place based on your location.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, we went with my dad. And he's the one who drove again.
Yep.
And we went there, and we were going through security. My dad had a knife in his pocket.
The reason being, the building was located extremely close to a ghetto.
Yeah.
So he was freaking out about that.
Yeah. And they told him, sir, you can't have that knife in this building. You have to, like, take it out off the property. So you know what he did? He went outside and he put it, like, in a large planter, just shoved it in there.
He just put it in a pot, just shoved it in
It's
there.
like a large planter thing with dirt, and he just shoved it in there. And he's like, I think there was some, like, security guys there and, like, or cops.
There was a lady there from the building. I don't know if there were...
Or somebody, there was somebody there. He's like, is it okay if I put them there? It's like, okay.
Yeah.
So he came back inside. We went through security just fine. We went, I think, upstairs.
No.
No, it was just another...
It was just another room within the same floor.
Yeah. We went up there. There's, like, nobody in the room at the time.
Nope, just an older couple.
Yeah, and they went through, and then we were waiting and stuff, and... No, we went up to the counter.
Yeah, we went up to the
counter. And, like, the guy there was like, okay, which one's the immigrant? Because, you know, not all immigrants are brown or black or, you know. They could be white for all we know. They could be coming from Norway.
Yeah.
I can't imagine why.
But hey, I'm white.
Yeah, you're kind of white for being Hispanic.
What do you mean for being Hispanic? Mira, pero ¿qué es lo que tú me estás diciendo tú a mí, eh?
So, anyway, we're like, oh, he's the immigrant. And he's like, oh, okay. It's like, what's your name? Oh, Carlos Martinez.
Mm-hmm.
Or should I say your last name on here?
I don't care.
Oh, okay.
How many Carlos Martinez's do you know?
Oh, well, I don't personally know a lot of Carlos Martinez people. But I know there's a lot of them out there, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. So there's plenty of us.
Okay, anyway. So we went in the back, and there was this large machine, and that's where you would do the fingerprints. And I thought it was so cool.
It was cool.
I was like, can I do that? And he's like, no, he's the only one who gets to do that. I'm like, dang it. Oh, wait, before we went in there, I forgot to say. My dad was talking about, like, something about bombs.
Yeah, he said, it's like, could you imagine if somebody brought a bomb in here? And we're like,
shut up! You don't say that stuff in this building! And it's like, and then the guy's like, who is that? And it's like, well, that's my dad.
Yeah, we seriously thought we were gonna get kicked out or something.
Oh my god. Anyway.
Or worse, but anyhow.
But luckily we didn't. So we got that done, and then we left, went home. Didn't do any sightseeing, unfortunately. I guess my dad was, like, kind of nervous being in that part of town.
To be quite honest, we were pretty tired too.
Yeah, tired too, yeah.
A long time.
So anyway, fast forward, we get called for the interview and we went to Kansas City.
Actually, before that,
What? What am I missing?
well, you're missing the fact that I had to wait a year and a half to be able to get my work permit because I was not allowed to work legally in the United States.
Oh, yeah, that was not fun.
So you can
Yeah.
imagine how bad it is to not have a job and not being able to work at all.
And then I like help out with rent and stuff like that.
So I couldn't help out with rent. I couldn't do anything at all. I stayed home all day, every day, and it was horrible. It was painful. I just could not deal with it. It was really doing a number on my depression. I felt so depressed. I was having panic attacks. I was
Yeah, a lot of people
thinking
who
way too
go
much.
people who go through immigration, people don't realize that a lot of them get PTSD. They just go through so much stuff, and we're one of the lucky ones.
Yeah, we're lucky.
Because there's some people who go through some really tough stuff, like really terrible stuff.
Yeah. But to make the story short, I got my work permit finally, and then pretty much almost immediately I got the summons for the interview. Pretty much immediately we got summoned for an interview.
Yes.
So I started looking for a job. Wasn't very successful at finding one until I finally ended up working in a fast food joint. I'm not gonna say the name, but my God, it was demoralizing, dehumanizing. It was absolutely horrible, and I would never recommend anyone to go through that down spiral.
Yeah.
They made me separate onions.
Okay, let's not go into a tangent again. We have to focus.
That's the end of it. But I just had to mention that little itty bitty part. But in any case, I quit that place before the interview. It didn't last very long. So we finally got summoned to our interview, and we went to Kansas City. And we were, of course, attempting our best to clench our butt cheeks during the whole trip. Because
we were super nervous.
We were incredibly nervous, and
because we heard some scary things.
See, that's another thing that nobody ever tells you about being an immigrant. It's the fact that everybody else just tells you horror stories. It's like they enjoy scaring the crap out of you. So yeah, you go ahead. You tell the story better than I do.
So we went to the place where we were going to have the interview in Kansas City. My parents went along with us for moral support.
And we needed it.
Yeah. And we went into the building, and there was a line of people going through this like security check. And it was just a big, long line of people. And there was a family from Nigeria. And there was like the mother, the father, the baby, I think like one or two other relatives, probably the grandparents. And they were in front of us, and they had a baby, and they let the baby go through, and the baby started crying. And then the father instinctively just went through to, console the baby. And the officer's like, oh, you didn't follow directions. We have to like do extra security check on you. And they had him sit down on a chair, and they had to like get the handheld scanner beepy thing, and made him like take off his shoes and like put his arms out, and they had to like check him like really, really well. And it's like, oh my God. And we were like, okay, this doesn't make us nervous
or anything.
And luckily nothing happened when we went through security. Like everything just went through just fine.
Yeah, for us it was just really straightforward.
Yeah, like we didn't get stopped, or we didn't get yelled at. We just followed what we were told to do. And
you didn't get yelled at.
Well, did you get yelled at?
Well, I didn't get necessarily yelled at, but the guard was like, Carlos Martinez, is this you? Like,
well, he didn't yell at you. He was just being...
Well, he was just being like really antagonistic.
Yeah. They're really serious about their job.
Yeah, well, I mean, they gotta be total respect.
It was not anything personal.
But it was scary.
Yeah, but it was scary. Yeah. So then we went into another room, and we had to sit down and wait until, your name was called.
Yeah.
We waited a little bit, nervous as hell, and then this guy comes out and says, Carlos Martinez. They were like, oh, that's us. So we followed the guy into this hall and then into his office.
Yeah.
And it was our immigration officer. And he sat us down, and at first he was very rigid, very serious, neutral.
Yeah, he
Like
remained
he was,
neutral during the whole thing. It didn't feel like he was antagonizing us, and it didn't feel like he was judging us in any way. He just seemed completely neutral.
yeah, very just serious. Like,
Yeah,
okay, like, how'd you guys meet? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, he was all business.
And then after a little bit of talking with us and us like showing him our papers and stuff like that, he started to, loosen up, smile a little bit, laugh a little bit, and and he was like, well, do you guys have any other like
Evidence.
any more evidence to add? And I started to take out another folder, and he's like, oh, no, it's okay, I don't need to add more to my file.
Yeah, and he said that I would get my green card delivered, and he let us go on our merry way. And my God,
Victorious.
we were incredibly happy. We're still celebrating that.
Yeah, it was great.
I cannot say the same for the toilet when I got home, but yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we got home, oh, my stomach, my poor stomach.
Yeah. And then we got the green card how many days
Like
after?
3 days
Three
later.
days 3 days later.
Yeah.
In the mail.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, I was constantly like double checking it to make sure that it was real, because it just felt like such a process. This year I gotta renew it.
Yes.
Well, I gotta remove restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
And then after that, you can apply for citizenship. And we live happily ever after the end.
Aye.
So that's our story, our long distance relationship story. It kind of like merged into like immigration stuff as well.
Well, that was part of it. I mean,
Yeah. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. It was pretty long. It's over an hour, so I'm just gonna stop it right here.
yeah, we can just stop it right here, and I don't know. Probably we might do, maybe if we do another recording about that's legit dedicated to immigration, what to do, what not to do, what resources anyone interested in immigrating can hope for, because there's a lot of disinformation
At
out
least
there.
like immigrating to the United States.
Yeah, immigrating to the United States, because there's a lot of disinformation out there. There's a lot of fear mongering.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that just outright enjoy making making immigrants feel afraid for their lives.
Yeah.
And I think it's important important to provide correct current
information. Yeah.
Yeah, and current information too, because there's also a lot of outdated information.
Yes.
So yeah, we might do it, we might not do it, but for the time being, that's all. Yeah, that's all, folks.
Bye, guys. Thanks for listening.